You want to know how I killed that lion? Your plan. The tree. You weakened it. You had it, Naru. You can see what I miss. You always have.
I don't know that this thing can be killed.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Hey, yo, what the hell is going on, friends? We are back with a brand new episode, a not oddly numbered episode 27 in Madness Pod. Shawn the Butcher, Vertebrae33. What's going on?
What's happening, Shawn? Episode 27. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I thought for sure that you would have already broken off and made your own solo album by now. You know, just ditch the guy in the dark room.
And realistically, it's like episode 50 something, but due to our ridiculously numbered system, we're only up to 27.
Yes, and I'm back to trying to hide in the dark over here.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We are on the socials at In Madness Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. Hit us in the mail sack. There's a couple of emails in there. We will be reading them on a episode very soon. If you would like to email us, inmadnesspod@gmail.com. Ask us questions about anything you want, whether it's a movie episode or a 0.5 episode where we talk shit about whatever we want, or an Instagram live you may have seen us do, whether it's unboxing my beautiful Godzilla toy over here, or if you saw me and my buddy Vertebrae hanging out in Philly. We'll get into that in a second. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page, give us the 5 stars, hit us all the likes, check out the In Madness Spotify playlist, which I've added a couple songs to due to our previous episodes of Predator. I could talk about that later. Happy In Madness Monday. Drop a new episode every Monday, even when our lives are in topsy-turvy insanity. We make sure there's a brand new episode for you every single Monday. Spread the madness worldwide. Spread the word. Tell everyone you know about this show. And check out inmadness.com, where now you can pick up 4 different types of In Madness t-shirts.
Yeah, Shawn, I have a couple here. You want me to grab one and hold one up on camera?
Let's do the teaser. I mean, I'm gonna post these. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm gonna post yeah, go ahead.
Talk to everybody about these t-shirts.
So I've been posting little teasers on the In Madness socials at In Madness Pod. But as of right now, according to our calculations, there they go. First off, if you're watching us on YouTube, there's our shirts. But I will also be posting these on the socials at In Madness Pod. And you can get these dope shirts inmadness.com. Yeah, let's throw up the second one. This one's so cool. The milking of the alpacas moment shirt. So cool.
We did it. You can wear that to the grocery store.
All artwork by Vertebrae33, the fucking man. They look so good. Those designs are so cool. I can't wait, man, because now you set the bar high, and now I'm just gonna want more. So I'm wearing one of your shirts.
Yes,
right now.
Thank you very much. Yep, the Justice Tarot. But these shirts too, In Madness shirts are printed on like a Gildan soft style shirt, so it's a nice comfy shirt. Shawn always gives shout outs, but shout outs to Ampro, who is a printer that I've worked with before. They're pretty phenomenal. Not pretty phenomenal, they are phenomenal. These are great shirts. We have them printed. These aren't print on demand. 3 feet away from me are boxes stacked up in my office, and Shawn and I will be mailing these out individually, throwing other little goodies in there with them. Please have patience with us. If you order one, we'll try to get them out kind of the following weekend if we can, but we definitely want to throw some goodies in there. And after you get a shirt, send us a picture, put it online, and we'll start to kind of gather up photos of people wearing them. And you'll see Shawn and I probably endlessly wearing them.
I'm gonna sleep in it. I'm gonna wear it every day. I'm gonna have flies around me like the kid in Peanuts, Charlie Brown. Pigpen. They used to call me Pigpen at my first job because one day I came in and my shirt stunk, and they're like, "He's like Pigpen from Peanuts," the dirty kid. So I got called Pigpen for my entirety time at my first job. KB Toys. Shout outs to KB Toys, where I got a bunch of the toys I have here on my shelf right now.
Oh, we should start this movie, but before you just brought up KB Toys, so I have to bring this up. At one point, I worked many, many, many years ago, and I was in art school. I worked at Toys R Us, and I was one of the overnight stock people at Toys R Us.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that in a previous
Did I?
25, and you said they would hide the Star
Oh
Wars
yes,
figures.
I did. Yeah. Well, actually, then I didn't tell you this part. Sean's like, "Come on, you're repeating yourself already. We're only 50 episodes in."
It's all right if people
But
didn't catch it last time. Yeah.
But I was gonna say is you were supposed to be working all night and like stocking the shelves, but I was in the Barbie aisle and I built like a wall of Barbies so that I could sleep in there. I probably told you that already too, but I'm excited to jump into this movie. You ready?
Well, before we jump in the movie, sorry, too much shite in the beginning. Real quick, our weekend in Philly, we had a great weekend in Philly. We went live on Instagram quickly. It was Vertebrae's idea. He's like, let's go live really quick because it's rare, A, that we leave the house, and B, that we're in the same place at the same time, and C, in a place 2.5 on a good day, but 4 hours on a bad day far away. It was great to be out in
Yeah.
Philly eating cheesesteaks. We sat and we had a little cheesesteak day. Shout outs to the Reading Terminal Market. That was
Amazing
great.
place. Place is
Yes, that was
awesome.
so good.
Yeah.
And then I got a sweet treat. What did I get? Oh, I got the mint chocolate chip whoopie pie.
How was that? How was
Dude,
that?
I was gonna eat it there, and you're like, save it for when you're in traffic. And let me fucking tell you, I was in traffic all through Philly. I was in traffic all through Brooklyn, and then I was in traffic all through Long Island. It was an agonizing ride back, and then I thought of you telling me to eat the whoopie pie in traffic. So in the second traffic jam of my trip, I whipped it out, and it was fluffy like a pillow. I wish I remembered the name of the company I got it from, but Philly was so dope. Shout outs to Suplex. I visited Suplex Vintage Wrestling Shop. That place was dope. And then what the hell else did we do? Where did we go?
We just wandered around.
Oh, we took a little walk. We posted our walk. If you want to check out what we did, it is on our Instagram at In Madness Pod. And shout out to you if we saw you in Philly fam. That was a great time out there. Looking forward to doing it once again. Okay, enough shite. Vertebrae. First off, what mug do you have? And then what movie are we doing?
All right, so I just have this kind of like rustic mug to go with the theme for today. It's all crackly on the inside and everything.
Like it was
To go with the
handmade.
movie.
Yes.
Yep, like it's handmade. I figured that would fit. And I do have this shirt on if you're
Oh,
looking online.
very cool.
So we are doing Prey. Came out 2022 on Hulu. And I want to quickly address some controversy in this film and then go on a mini tirade, Sean. You ready for this? You ready? Buckle up. Here we go. So some people were super annoyed that this movie came out on Hulu. And I had zero problems with it coming out on Hulu.
Who doesn't have Hulu?
Yeah. Well, the big deal is, Sean, listen, I love buying the 4K and getting the pure image and the soundtrack and everything. But I heard a lot of people complaining about the fact that they couldn't see this movie in the theater and they had to watch it on television. And that fact made me deepen my love for this film because I get it. Film directors want us to go to the movies and be encapsulated by their vision. I totally understand that. But like, have you been to a movie theater recently, Sean? Like, it's not.
This afternoon to see Godzilla vs. Kong.
There you go. It's not always the most
Didn't
pleasant
this come out
experience.
peak pandemic? Wasn't there no movie theater anyway?
Yeah, 2022. So I think they could have probably been in the theater or released it at some point. They did release it on 4K disc, which I bought, and it looks fantastic. But to me, you can't tell people how to view your art, and so you just have to make incredible art, and hope they, absorb it the way they do. But I was joking because I think like there was another little controversy over this movie that we're not going to discuss at all because I could care less about. But yeah, I saw some people getting real upset at the fact that how dare they put this on Hulu and why does that matter? And I'm like, it's a fantastic film. I don't care where it is. I'm going to watch it. So 2022 on Hulu, directed by Dan Trachtenberg. He also did 10 Cloverfield Lane. This movie he was working on this for about 6 years. So it's a weird timeline because there was another Predator movie that came out in the meantime when he would have been already working on this. So it's really interesting. And that movie had a lot of kind of like input by producers and stuff. And this was kind of more his vision. So it's pretty interesting. So beautiful score by Sarah Schachner. I have that on vinyl. It's sitting behind me, actually. And this Prey is set in, with the Comanches and Comanche culture and their tribe and their village, and it's an amazing setting for this. They also have it dubbed in Comanche, Shawn. Did you watch it in Comanche?
Somebody guessed, well, I don't whether they guessed the episode we were doing or whether they watched our 783 on Instagram where we said what movie we were doing. On Twitter, they asked me, "Are you watching it in Comanche?" And I went, "Oh my God, there's a version in Comanche. I hope it's not the one Vertebrae is watching because I'm watching the one that's in English."
Okay, so I watched both.
It's the same movie. It's just
It's the
dubbed.
same movie, but I actually liked it a lot better in Comanche because now
I messed
for
up.
the podcast, we have to put the words on the screen anyway, right? So you're keeping track of everything. So it doesn't matter. You're kind of reading anyway, and it just felt more natural for what they were doing. So once you know the movie already, I think it was pretty awesome for me. I was like, "Oh, I'll try it." And then I ended up watching the whole movie again in Comanche, which I thought was great. And then I was trying to learn some words of Comanche, but figured I could drop them for you once in a while in other podcast episodes. So this takes place 300 years before the first film. 1719 is when this is supposed to take place. And it's supposed to be the first time the Predator has been on Earth. And Dan said he wanted to make a movie with as few words as possible. And when we get into it, you certainly see where they just kind of lay out and let you take in these beautiful scenes and training montage type stuff. That's really, really cool. They had a training camp for the tribe, and they used a lot of indigenous people in the film. A lot of Native Americans are in this film playing these roles, for real. And he said that he kind of wanted to make a movie because the Comanches were kind of always people's sidekicks in other films. And I thought about it, and I remember when I was a kid, I would watch. I mean, I'm not that old, but there were repeats of old like Lone Ranger. They were like black and white. They'd be on it like ridiculous hours in the morning, 5 a.m. or something. And I always liked Tonto better than the Lone Ranger. Like I thought he was so much cooler than the Lone Ranger. This guy's running around in this like with a kerchief and this button-up shirt. And, like Tonto's doing all the work. So I thought that was really cool. This was filmed in Stoney Nakoda Nation in Alberta, Canada, as well as Calgary's Moose Mountain and Elbow River. So beautiful, absolutely beautiful, stunning location to film in. So it was very cool. He wanted the Comanches because they were considered very fierce warriors, and they were also very good at like fighting off of horses, and you see some of that in the film as well. And they shot it in English, then they later dubbed it in Comanche, which is really cool. And they offer both versions on Hulu as well as on the 4K. So all right, I will do the cast really quick, and then we'll get into the movie because somebody's going to be mad that we're taking so long in the beginning. Wait, Shawn, before I get into the cast, you watched this like right when it came out?
Yeah, I was doing nothing. I was at home. I wasn't going outside. I was dying for a new movie to come out. The second they dropped it, I watched it, and then I watched it like 3 days later, and then I talked about it with everyone. I watched it immediately, and I loved it immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this the cast is Amber Midthunder as Naru, or they say it's actually properly pronounced like Naru, but and that means fight in Comanche. So that's pretty cool. Dakota Beavers as Tabe. Did I get that right? Her brother.
Yep.
He's awesome. And then So they revealed in the script, and I had mentioned this before, that there was a connection to the original Predator, and there's this whole like possibility that he's Tabe is a reincarnation of Billy.
Billy, gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I
Which is
see. There are some
pretty cool.
similarities which I do point out later on. Yeah.
Yeah. And Michelle Thrush as Aruka, which is the mom, Julian Black Antelope as the chief, Coco as Sari, the dog. Did I pronounce that right? Sari?
Probably.
That dog is amazing. Amazing. And spoiler alert, it survives the film.
Oh, but boy, do we get into it about everything else in this movie. But yeah, yeah.
He is she, I'm not sure. That dog is amazing. And then we can go into the rest of the cast. It's Stormy, Kip. I'm gonna murder all these names. I apologize for that. As Wasape, Comanche Hunter, the one who really looks down on Naru. Mike Patterson as Big Beard. Bennett Taylor as Raphael Andolini. And it's funny. There's a character called Wax Mustache in the movie, and Spyglass, and those are part of the French trackers that are there. So, and there's just a note: Trachtenberg is developing another Predator film called Badlands, which is separate from this and not a sequel to Prey. So they loved what he did so much that they want to play in this universe again, and I think he's the right guy for it, because this film, and we'll talk about it as we go along, but there's a good part of this film that you could take the Predator out of it and it still be this really cool, beautifully shot story. And I think we recently talked about remakes and people doing different things with certain films. And I think in addition to a universe that exists already, when you have other content and you're bringing this different viewpoint on it, just makes it incredibly interesting. If you can build your story up, your regular part of the story, as incredible as your creature part of the story, then you really got something. And both of these work perfectly together. I'll tell you where I rank this film when we're done, Shawn.
Ranking, not
Maybe.
a vertebrae favorite. So I didn't know this was their first time on Earth. So I have a whole spiel about my Predator story in my head.
I love it.
But I'll get into that.
Absolutely.
I'll get into that as we get to it. And I remember you talk that a year plus ago when we decided to do this podcast, this was one of the first movies you brought up that you wanted to do. So I'm glad we are finally hitting it now for episode 27, technically episode 55 or whatever the hell. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I love the color theme for it, the glowing neon green, just Predator blood, just everything, even on Hulu, like the background and her face. Yeah. I love one of my favorite colors. So shout outs to green. We open with our main character, Naru, speaking Comanche. A long time ago, it is said a monster came here. We see a beautiful landscape, wildlife. We see a teepee. Inside of it, a girl sleeping, our main character, Naru. She gets shoved awake. That's how like my dad would wake me up, with just the foot and the shoulder. Just get up.
Oh yeah. And then I quickly am like, okay, I couldn't survive. Like, you romanticize like, oh, long time ago, what would it be like to live in 1719? And right away I'm like, okay, sleeping on the ground, somebody kicks you to wake you up, you're in the same clothes you were wearing, and you literally have to get up and go to work. Just walk out, no coffee, no anything, and here we go, we're headed out. Shawn and I would not survive this at all.
Can I get a pedicure anywhere? Where do I get a mani pedi? Where would I go? What do I do?
Like, you can't call in sick.
No, you kidding me? No, please. Playing hooky from that? It's not impossible. I can't go see Godzilla Kong if I'm on the Comanche lifestyle.
Yeah, your downtime is training, right?
Yeah.
Your downtime is training to fight. Yeah. Crazy.
She sees a dog patiently waiting by the fire. She walks out, and we see we're in this tribe's land. It's a long time ago. And something we didn't highlight in our Predator 2 episode a couple of episodes back, in our point 5 where we covered Predator 2, our first 0.5 where we covered a movie, the Predator gives Danny Glover a gun, a relic from something like, I think 1715 is on the gun. And he gave it to him as like a reward for, I guess, like killing the Predator in Predator 2. And when one of the secret government dudes at the end shows up, he gets mad. He's like, we missed our only shot. And Danny Glover laughs and he's like, don't worry, I think you'll get your chance one day, alluding to the fact that these predators have been on Earth or visiting Earth for a very long time.
Yeah.
So Nadu is cutting food out of the ground. Dog barks or runs off. And I don't know what happens here because the camera sort of focuses off of her and it focuses on this tree that she's near. And I look at the tree for a while and like there's something like dented into the tree, but I couldn't tell what the hell it is.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what it was either. At first, I didn't think it was. At first, I thought for sure it was something. And then I was like, oh, maybe it was just, they were just messing with us a little bit to just kind of, maybe something's there. You know how like when something's looking at you, alluding to the fact that he's there. But then we see the tree, close up of it quickly after, and she's throwing the axe. So I don't know if that was the same tree and the mark on the tree was from her previous
throwing the
axe throwing.
That's...
And maybe in focus tree was like, oh, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this. I want to do what I really want to do now instead of picking these, I guess it's potatoes or some of their sweet potatoes. I don't know what they are out of the ground. I'm going to go throw my axe. So I think that was what that was.
So she's chucking her axe, doing target practice. She's very good. Her and her dog find some animal tracks. They track down a large deer. She gives her dog his instructions in Comanche, and the dog understands, and he's standing at attention. They're both very quiet. They're hunting when out of the sky comes a loud sound. It's like thunder, but also like something intergalactic. It makes a lot of noise, and the deer and the dog run off, and for the first out of many times in this movie, the chase is on. Nadu and the dog are chasing this deer. She's sliding, she's gliding. She is a badass.
And she's got those cool moves throughout the entire movie where she'll slide and push off of a tree. And Shawn and I are going to try it. We're going to try this. We're going to take some video. We're going to do some.
I'm going to tell you where I die. I'll tell you where I die.
And Shawn, you've met my dog. There's no way my dog is sitting there patiently waiting behind that tree to go after deer. There's no way.
No way. The dog yelps, and of course, it gets its tail stuck in a bear trap because, as usual, no animals make it out of In Madness unharmed. She frees the dog and applies some herbs to its injured tail. It licks her face and thanks her. She inspects the trap, knowing it's not one of hers. And again, another rumble from the sky. Kind of like thunder, but also kind of not. Nadu and the dog head to a cliff, look in the dark sky, and they see a fire trailing through the sky, causing a ripple effect. A ship. It looks badass. They've been, I think, I didn't know this was their first time. I think this is like their millionth time. I feel like they've been here forever. And slowly from the top of the screen lowers prey.
And it's really cool. We're 5 minutes into this movie and we essentially get everything 5 minutes in. We figure out who she is, what she has to do, what she really wants to do, how loyal her dog is, see her train, and now get this ship. Like we get the entire movie and what's going to happen. And then we get the herb piece that plays into it and the flowers that she's picking. In 5 minutes, they give it all of it, all of it to us, and still shot in a beautiful way. And still, it's not a long, as much as I love long exposition scenes, it's not that. And we're able to know, and we don't need to know what it was like 2 weeks ago for her or what it was like when she was 5 years old or any of that, because they do such a great job of storytelling that we get it all within the first 5 minutes of the movie. And we feel like we know her already and this situation, because I think we can all relate to people not wanting us to be what they'd hope us to be, or, keeping you down, or, so very cool.
Tabe, Naru's brother, is telling her he remembers when their dad told him he was ready for the big hunt, Katamiya. That's as close as I'm going to get. Nadu was so little that mom took her to gather herbs. Him and dad went up to the hills. Bad weather, bad rain. He got his bowstring wet. Nadu makes a snoring noise like she's bored, but she's aiming in the air, and annoyed, her brother takes aim with his bow and snipes this bird carrying a fish right out of the air, sending it plummeting into the earth. She says she was waiting for it to circle back. He tells her she was sleeping. She says now he has to go all the way across the river to get the bird, tells him not to get his bowstring wet. She tells him she saw something in the sky earlier. She saw a sign, the Thunderbird, because it sounds like thunder and flying through the air. Very cool. And I think in my mind, she called it the Thunderbird because there's the legend of the Thunderbird, because in my mind, I feel like they've been here before.
Right. And I mean, listen, they could have been. That was the director kind of talking about it after the fact and after the movie came out, you know.
I would love to think they were here like with Tyrannosaurus Rexes and like raptors and Dilophosauruses, and like there's Predator just like doing his thing and yeah.
The only thing I'll say that adds to being the first time is it builds up as it goes along. It starts small and works its way up, sort of the food chain. So that makes me feel like it doesn't know the planet right off the bat, because it's not going right to the top. It's not going right to the humans. It's kind of, okay, I'll defeat this and move up to the next level. But I don't want to ruin your headcanon that you got going on.
I like thinking they were here with Triceratops.
I mean, this film too helps you think of it in different situations, because I know we had Predator 2, which was in a city, but like if you think of being able to drop Predator, in feudal Japan or here or there, like it'd be amazing to see how that went down. So with Vikings, with make the Northman and then drop Predator in there, like very cool. So yeah, I think you're not far off. I don't want to ruin that for you.
And actually, listening back to another episode, I said I didn't think that there was a Predator, an Arctic horror Predator, and then I thought about it, and there is, because I think Alien vs. Predator, it's like a lot of snow and glaciers and ice and things of that sort. So I was incorrect on that.
Yes,
maybe we'll cover that one day.
We should. I've got some love for that movie.
Yeah.
A little bit of love.
Maybe we'll make it part of our extended Predator theme, 2 months of Predator. No, I think we're going to go left after in a little bit, but she tells her brother it's time. She's ready for her big hunt. He says, you think you're ready. You want to hunt something that's hunting you. Cut to her and her dog walking through this beautiful open land, and we see we're in the northern Great Plains, September 1719. So this is 4 years after the gun that Danny Glover was given in Predator 2.
Yes. That was it was named that Raphael Andolini was engraved right on it. And 1719, which is the first year, because we'll see them later on. The French headed into Oklahoma and started, killing buffalo and stuff. So they started doing that, and we see some of that in this movie. That's the other thing that they roll into this, is kind of a little bit of a ecological message in a lot of ways too.
Nadu and her mother are preparing food and grinding herbs. She gives the dog the tail end of a fish for dinner. Mom laughs and says she trained him well. Nadu says the dog is smart. Mom says not every smart creature is easy to train. Nadu asks her mom if the herb she's grinding is for the war chief's bad knee. She says yes, he's getting worse. Nadu tells her she didn't put some special herb in her mix. Orange Tutsia.
Oh, that was good, Shawn. You did good.
Thank God for subtitles. Mother asks Nadu who taught her about that. Nadu says you did. She's carving away at her axe with a rock. Mom says dad left that to cut breadroot with. Nadu says she almost caught a deer with it. Mother says you can't eat almost.
That's rough.
She says Nadu's good at so many other things. Why do you want to hunt? And she says, because you all think I can't. Her brother walks in carrying the bird. Mother's impressed. He tells Nadu she should have listened to his stories. She says she didn't have time for a nap, and mother sends Nadu to get more herbs.
And the brother, the actor, he does a really phenomenal job, because he has to ride the line of us. The other guys get to be unlikable. They get to pick on her and be, but we've got to like him and show the love between a brother and sister. But he's also going to revel in the glory of everyone liking what he does. So he does a great job. A lot of subtle kind of looks throughout the film to get us that, okay, he understands how it affects her when he's getting all of this glory, but he's still got to go forward with it. But great job.
I love their dynamic. I love that they have a good laugh in easily the most high tense situation of this entire movie, which we'll get into
Yeah.
later. We look out over this beautiful mountainous landscape and we see it, an enormous ship. It camouflages itself. It blasts off back in the sky, and slowly a camouflage predator rises and does its little clicking, and it begins to hunt. Naru's gathering herbs and comes back to the tribe's people, and there's trouble. A lion has snatched one of the kids of the tribe. Now they're hunting as well. We see them on the move, and the camera sort of stays isolated and slowly zooms in on the trees, giving you this feeling that, again, just like in the original movie, something's in the trees, but you don't know what. You can't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Sure as shit, one of the tribesmen hears rocks clattering behind him. He slowly turns around, and we hear it, the predator clicking noise. The kid takes aim. Naru's brother makes the kid lower his weapon as she slowly makes her way out of the direction the kid is aiming in. The boys are not happy to see her. They make fun of her, tell her she should be back in the village cooking. Her brother stands up for her, tells the posse she tracks well. If they find the kid who got snatched by the lion, Naru's good with medicine. He approaches her and tells her that she's got to find the lion now. She's confident she will. She runs off. The camera stays focused on the ground, in the grass, and we see this little ant crawling around. And then it begins crawling up, but it's crawling up nothing, but something is there. And then we see this little water ripple effect. Quickly, a mouse comes up, snatches the ant. It's eating the ant. And we see a rattlesnake shaking his tail, looking at the mouse, ready to strike. It snaps and grabs the mouse in its mouth. I love the circle of life we get very quickly. We see a tiny blood splatter on the camouflage predator. The snake begins slithering away and then stops. It spits out the mouse. It knows something's not right. It knows that something's there. The snake gets in attack position. It starts rattling its tail. It goes to strike, and we see Predator retract the Wolverine claw, and it goes right through the snake's head. Then through Predator's point of view, not Predator vision, but sort of this watery camouflage view, we see Predator slice the snake down his back and tear out its spine. I think. Do snakes have spines?
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, it would have its bone. It could tear out its bones, snake bones attached to the skull for sure.
Snake Bones is a cool band name.
That's our new band, Snake Bones. Yeah. But the watery kind of thing is because we're seeing through the predator when he's doing this. And keep in mind, Shawn, as he's attacking, he's killing these creatures in the same way they would kind of kill him. So he kills the snake with this quick strike before it knows it. It almost looks like two fangs, like two big fangs coming through it too. And as we get to other kills, you'll notice it's very similar. But yeah, this is really very cool. The predator being invisible thing is interesting because it is, but everybody, like, there's always somebody who kind of senses something is there. And I don't know, the snake definitely knew it was there. There's other creatures animals we go through it certainly know it's there. I wonder if it's something they always have or it's something they develop per planet or it's interesting. And if they weren't there before, did they need it before? But
the tribe is searching the woods for their missing friend. They eventually find him. He's messed up. He's still alive. Naru's healing him with her herbs. She tells the boys, this will cool his blood. The men build a stretcher to carry him. Naru's concerned. Why is their missing friend alive? Something had to scare away the lion that snatched him. Her brother goes to hunt for the lion. The other men carry the injured friend back to the village. On the way, Naru and her dog find the snake. The predator just turned inside out. She approaches it, she pokes it, and the inside out snake gives one last jump before it dies.
And these guys, this crew, they build this stretcher to bring him back. It's like one of 1 million points in this film where Shawn and I wouldn't be good at all, but they're just kicking gear and like we'll build in like minutes. They build this stretcher and she's got herbs on him and trying to slow down the bleeding, and it's yeah.
You would have learned how to do it if you stayed in that goddamn Cub Scout meeting. If they had Oreo cookies,
Oh, if they
then
had real Oreo cookies,
then you would
yeah.
have been able to build that stretcher.
Yeah, I could have gotten a tourniquet. I could have applied a tourniquet at least, but yeah, maybe, just maybe this village has really, really good cookies.
Official Oreos, not the
Maybe they,
Hydrox shit.
maybe they got real cookies in this village. I don't know if they eat cookies. I don't know if Native Americans. I'm sure they had something similar and they ate sweets
That's
for
what
sure.
mom
But
was grinding up with the rock, the delicious like end of the cookie. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I stand on this orange Totsia either. Like it's interesting because it's a great storytelling device that they use in this. I mean, the Native Americans used a lot of different flowers, and during the Civil War, there were certain types of flowers used to kind of slow slow people's heartbeats down and stop the blood flow. Help with fevers and infections. But Sean, for every one that works, they had to have tried one that didn't work. I feel sorry for the dudes that were the experiments years ago when they were like, hey, the orange one works. Do you think the purple one works too? Oops, I guess not. Well, we
It's
lost
poison.
one.
Whoops.
Yeah, that one's poison. That one attracted fire ants. Now you're covered in fire ants. Oh,
Just put
well.
a big X next to no purple flowers.
Yeah, and then how do you pass that information on to other people? There's no Google. Like, how do you tell other people, like, hey, just so like, don't mess with that purple flower there, or those berries are poisonous, hey, watch out. Oops, we lost another one. Like, yeah, that would be, yeah. If I had a time machine, I want to take you and I back to 1719. Only if we like couldn't die and just see.
Yeah, I would be dead. I would be snatched by the lion. I'd be this kid.
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, when I was making this, I got a splinter. We're making a stretcher over here. Like, how'd you guys cut your tree down so quickly? How did you do this? Yeah, it's they're amazing.
Naru takes her torch and notices next to the dead snake there's a large predator footprint stomped in the ground. She looks up and sees what appears to be a bunch of blood up in a tree. The men come back to get her. She shows them the tracks. They say it could be a bear. She says, why would it walk on its hind legs? Why would it skin a snake like that? She goes to warn her brother, and one of the men accompanies her. They find her brother in the lion's hunting ground. She tells him she found huge tracks. He says he's not afraid of any bear. She says she doesn't think it was a bear. She's never seen any tracks like this. She says it's skinned and gutted a snake. He says they got to deal with the lion first. Nadu tells him the lion won't think they're hunting it. The lion will think it's hunting them. She wants to get bait and wait for it, but the other kid, who's an asshole, tells her a hunter doesn't wait, a hunter hunts. If you're too afraid, go back where you belong. But her brother agrees to try it her way. They're going to use bait. He tells her this is it, her big hunt. When she finds the lion, tell it this is as far as you go, no more.
These guys are mean to her the entire time.
Assholes.
The entire time. Yeah, the entire time.
And watch what happens.
And what's funny too is they're all in the original Predator. We got these dudes that were completely jacked up, oiled up, montage scenes of muscles. Everybody's got a million bullets. It's and we get these guys. They're all very thin, very agile, but I feel like time, because of like things like MMA, has taught us that like you don't have to look a certain way to be like really tough and like kick somebody's butt. And I think seeing them, you're like, okay, they've got this handled, but they do not want her there. She is hanging on. She is getting in the way of their vibe. I think too, she's got the coolest like makeup of any of them. That like, it's almost like that black metal bar or something across her face. I think there's a little jealousy on that too, Sean, because she looks more badass than a couple of the dudes in the group. But yeah, they will be sorely mistaken before you know it.
We see a gutted animal in the grass, a duck maybe, I don't know. They're using it as bait. Nadu and the other kid from the tribe are climbing the tree, using the tree to hunt this lion, because behind them we see what appears to be wind blowing in the grass, but also something seems like it could be there. Nadu sharpening her bow, and the kid says, it won't matter sharpening her axe, and she says it won't matter how sharp it is if you're too afraid to use it. He asks her if she's ready. He tells her a lion has a mouth full of teeth like arrows, ready to tear your flesh and crush your bones. We see her brother making a trail of blood with the bait. The kid says the men will find the lion themselves and kill it. And then snatch! This little fucker gets ripped out of the tree by the lion, and we hear him screaming and getting ripped apart. Naru is ready. The lion, with a face full of blood and glowing eyes, begins clawing its way up the tree, trying to eat her. She's face to face with it. We get this awesome shot of them both in the tree approaching each other. She backs up too far and gets herself in this precarious position at the end of the thick tree branch. So now she doesn't have good footing. She's bouncing all over the place. And in the distance, she hears a loud roar and looks off, and we see a glowing red light in the woods. She gets distracted. The lion takes the opportunity, makes its leap toward her. She backs up, falls off the tree, and smashes her head on a rock and knocks herself out.
Finally, somebody in the film does something that Shawn or I would do. Fall off the tree and knock ourselves out. Finally, it happens. I can totally relate to that part.
She would have had to carry me back.
Yeah, this
on her shoulders.
This is Shawn at the Sugabuk show. Getting carried away right before his big triumphant moment.
For real.
But yeah, there's just no way. And it's really cool. I thought the lion, there was a part of me the first time I saw this was like, oh, the predator's going to show up now and like kill this lion in front of them or something. So I like that we're kind of stretching out a little bit further. I love the pacing of this film. It's got a ton of kills. It's got all of that stuff if you're into it, for sure. But it also has these long, majestic shots, and they pull out the story a little bit. The soundtrack is phenomenal. The dark scenes are very dark. When this scene is very, very dark, and it's just super well done. Super well done.
We see Mother making herb tea. Naru shocks herself awake, but she's in pain. Mother says brother carried her home, then went out to get the lion. Naru wants to go after him. Mother makes her drink tea. They say the friend who got snatched by the lion originally survived because of Naru's medicine. She tells her something else is out there and her brother needs help. Mother tells her if he needed her, he'd have never brought her back. Mother tells her the big hunt isn't about the hunt, it's about survival. Out of the darkness, like a total badass, comes her brother, covered in blood, carrying the lion over his shoulder, and I'm pretty sure he's got the head in his other hand, because no animal makes it out alive from in Madness Pod. The whole village is stoked and begins singing his praises.
Yeah, that's even worse for her. So she knocks herself out, and it's her brother who takes care of the business, and everybody's just even more proud of him, and just now they all think she's really silly to try any of this. Like, why would you want to do this? Just go ahead and wake up and gather the flowers and the potatoes or whatever you got to do. Why would you even give this a shot?
Naru gets upset. She walks off, but her brother stops her and wants to celebrate. She wants to know what made those tracks and skin that snake. She tells him before she fell, she saw lightning in the trees. Something else is out there. He says, if there is, then I'll get it. She wants to go back out, but he refuses. She tells him she'll go it alone. He tells her she can't. She tells him she doesn't need his permission. He says he had to carry her back. She's not ready. She can hunt. She tried, but she can't finish the job. Again, it's early morning. Naru gets shoved awake. All the women from the village seem to be going off to do the morning chores, gathering herbs and whatnot. Naru has her herb satchel ready to go, but gets annoyed and switches it for her hunting gear and tells herself if they don't see, show them, and heads the opposite way of all the other women and heads to the woods with her dog.
Can't they find a better system to wake people up than just shoving them like that? Like, get up. There's no...
Like dog lick in the face. How about my cat has a perfect alarm set in its brain at 4 o'clock every day to wake me up and give it its wet food. I'm sure the dog can lick Naru's face at 5:30 a.m. and be like, get up, bitch. It's time to get some herbs.
Yeah, it's also too, it's like they don't get, there's no heads up. Like, give it, okay, get up, and we're leaving in like 10 minutes or something, like it's just get up and go. So who
No
was the first
coffee,
person to
no
wake
ice
up?
cold water.
Who was the first person to wake up? What if the whole village sleeps in?
No
What if the
way.
main I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving my teepee, Sean. I'm just setting up shop in there. Especially now you told me there's lions snatching people and stuff. There's no way. Just peeking at the
They got a
side.
home security system for this TP, for fuck's
Yeah.
sake.
Yeah, no. I've got like spiked sticks by the door on the inside. There's no way I'm leaving.
Naru makes a discovery: neon green slime, blood on a piece of a tree. She looks down and there's a giant predator footprint. You see this adorable bunny eating grass. Slowly behind it, menacingly, we see a wolf hunting it. And then, predator vision. It's tracking the bunny. It's tracking the wolf. The chase again is on. Wolf snatches the bunny. Predator smashes into the wolf. The wolf growls and can see the camouflage predator and munches on its leg. Predator gives it a whack and throws it back 20 feet, and the wolf gets pissed. We see this glowing slime green predator blood on its fangs. The predator kneels over the rabbit and whips out its Wolverine claw. The wolf makes an attack, jumps at the predator, who slices the wolf. It lands on the other side and is still moving and active for a fraction of a second. And then its guts fall out and it falls to the floor dead because no animal makes it out alive from Id Madness Pod.
Oh, it was brutal. And if you notice, so we're talking about how it kills, it circles the wolf and sort of waits for its chance to attack like a wolf would do. So it's already figured out what a wolf would do. And it's just like it did with the snake. Now it's doing it with the wolf. And then after we see the wolf and we see it already pulls the spine and the skull out.
He
Then we
makes a slice, rips out the spine, and the head comes with it, and he holds it in the air and screams.
And then we just cut to this cute little bunny after
It
just
reminded
sitting
me
there.
of Black Phillip in The Witch when they do that cut, and it's just his doofy ass face munching on some hay.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool like deep cut for the alternate poster for Prey. Just
A
that rabbit,
bunny. Yeah.
just sitting there and just says Prey. Like that'd be funny. Like alternate. Maybe you could kind of put him in the background, hidden in the trees or something. But yeah, I don't like the amount of animals that have been killed already in this film at all. And I did not have high hopes for the dog when all this was going down. I thought for sure this dog was not making it out of this film.
It's the circle of life. Elton John wrote a song about it. Oh man, do we add that to this playlist?
Hey, you just said it out loud. I mean, we definitely should add. Definitely should add the kind of the main theme from Prey. It's that main song that goes throughout it. That's a really great job. But now I think because you said it out loud,
we cut to this adorable bunny is standing its fat ass front and center in front of the camera, but it runs off just before Nadu tries to hit it with her axe. There's a whole mess of bunnies and she's trying to kill one, but no luck. She needs to modify her weapon. Using thin slivers of tree bark, she makes a rope, which she attaches to her axe, now making it retractable so she doesn't have to chase after it every time she throws it. We see her between two trees, trying out her new weapon, chucking it from left to right, tree to tree, like Scorpion with his harpoon. And the dog is just sitting there watching, head going left to right, left to right. We see a bunny off in the distance, then cut to Nadu carrying many dead bunnies. Success.
Yeah, that was awesome how she made that rope with the bark, and then we get into the whole training montage. Like she could already hit the trees anyway. She just had to figure out how to, when you pull it back, how to not get hurt. That was the part that was interesting. Like you could just pull it out of the tree, and now the thing is flying at you, and you're able to catch it by the handle and not another part of the axe. Seems like that would be,
I would be my first one. Wrist off, gone, nothing. I'd be like,
yeah. I wonder if she can axe the bunny and like pull it back too.
And yeah, and snap. Yeah.
And like snatch it back. Like that's
Get over here. Yeah. We cut to Predator's lair, the Predator Cave. It's applying this smoke substance to the head of the wolf, causing the hair and skin to erode, exposing the skull. It looks in its eyes and growls and clicks at it and adds it to its skull belt as a trophy. In the
Mm.
distance, it hears Nadu's dog barking, and now it's at full attention. Predator camouflages itself. Nadu approaches a field that seems to be full of just skinned, dead buffaloes. Vultures are circling above. Flies are buzzing. Nadu puts something like a flower or something on the buffalo and puts her hand on the dead animal and says like a prayer in Comanche. And next to the corpse picks up a half-smoked cigar.
And Shawn, just jump back real quick. We get the part where she's eating the rabbit and she gives the dog. The dog is patiently waiting and she gives it a little bit of the food. I thought that was a really sweet scene. And then we see her brushing her teeth in the morning. She's putting out the fire and then she's brushing her teeth because Comanches would often use certain types of tools or wood that they found to brush their teeth with. So we get her grooming and then making sure her fire is safely put out. So Smokey the Bear would be very proud of her in that situation.
Only who gets to prevent forest? That's a great Simpsons bit. I won't get into it. We cut to these tall trees. We see impacts and jumps being made to each one. And then the camouflage predator jumps down into the little stream, searching for the dog. Nadu is searching, but then notices all has gone silent. She calls for the dog, but gets no response. She looks ahead and sees a tree with some wild looking scratch marks in it. She steps forward to check it out and falls right into a large puddle of mud, essentially like quicksand. I don't know what they call it. Quick mud.
Oh God! Did you just say puddle of mud?
Oh yeah.
That will not be included on the.
No, we're not going to do that. Either way, this is where I die. Not by the lion. If not by the lion, this is where I die. In this
Yeah,
mud.
you just slowly drift in. I don't think it's quicksand, right? I think quicksand is like
it's
dry.
like definitely
It's just
mud.
mud.
I don't. It's like it, but it is like anytime you struggle, it like makes you sink deeper.
And so when you see this, the first time you're viewing this film and you see her go into the mud, you're like, okay, she's gonna cover herself in mud. The predator's not gonna see her. And although it plays a part in it, it's not the reason that it doesn't see her. And it was really interesting. This is the first we sort of get to a reference for the original film right here. You're kind of already thinking that, but yeah, I'm with you. I guess I would just kind of drift into the mud. I don't even know what you do. Like, I mean, what she does, yes, you could do, but I don't know.
Like,
Doesn't it feel like
help?
doesn't it feel like you can't tread water? And can you float? Can you? I don't know.
Just
We
sit
need a
there
mud
forever
expert.
until somebody comes by.
I guess if it gets hot enough, it would dry up a little bit, or
just a nightmare.
would you then be stuck? Like mud's getting It's probably really good for your skin, though. Your complexions probably looks great.
Do a good mud scrub every now and again. You got keep the complexion. We cut the predator now. He's on their trail. He also passes his wild field of dead skinned buffalo and picks up the same cigar and picks up the flower or the herb that Nadu left on the carcass, and he begins examining it. Cut back to Nadu's unfortunate ass trapped in this mud. This is some never-ending story shit. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
She gets the brilliant idea to use her axe harpoon and chuck it into this downed tree near her and use it to try and pull herself out of this mess. But she is continually unsuccessful. And with each failed attempt, she's sinking lower into this muck until finally it catches and she manages to crawl her way out of this hell.
Mm-hmm.
She's down at the stream cleaning her weapons. Her dog approaches with a small rat in its mouth. They hear a loud growl and they're on the move. They track this large bear tearing away at a deer carcass. The wind blows, and it blows the scent of Nadu and her dog right to the bear's nose, who immediately stops what he's doing and begins sniffing around for them. She pulls her bow and arrow tight and breaks it, makes a big snapping noise, and now the bear knows where they're at. And once again, the chase is on. Nadu lays down and is quickly doing maintenance on her arrow, and in the same shot, this is one of the most anxiety-driven shots ever. You see behind her head, and she's fumbling and putzing around with the damn bow and arrow, and we see the bear coming up, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's running right at her, ready to attack, and the dog's barking like, we got a problem here. And the bear gets right up to where they're at. So the dog runs off in another direction, diverting the bear's attention, sending it chasing after the dog, buying her some time. She takes her weapons, makes her repairs, and follows them.
And I love that the dog takes off. He takes the bear away. And then when she does all her amazing moves all the way down this hill, which you're going to get to, when you see the dog coming back the other way, he's almost like, all right, like I did my job. Like, it's on you now. Like, I can't keep doing this.
The dog comes running back in her direction. She lowers her weapon. Then our friend the bear pops out, chasing after. She readies her bow, pulls it tight, shoots it, but it don't mean a damn thing because this fucker is still running full force at her. She runs across the stream. The bear's chasing. It's right on her ass. She finds a safe little hidden spot in between all these tree branches, and this bear is going insane. It's right in her face. It's screaming. There's blood all over its mouth. It's smashing away at these big, thick branches. It's so close, and then it stops and growls like something else diverted its attention.
And this is cool. They wanted this bear scene to be a little more, but then they found a way to kind of get out of it with this beaver dam that's there that they could, you know, didn't have to spend as much money kind of on the CG as they would have done if it was like a bigger fight, because now we're about to get a lot of that in this next part. So I thought it was a cool element to have her there and to have her view of what's going on through these, you know, branches and sticks. I also think it's really cool because it takes you back to the original Predator. When we saw her just moments ago sitting in the mud up against that down tree, it looked a lot like the scenes with Arnold and the branches and the mud and the roots, and we get that again here too.
We hear it. The predator clicking noise. Naru is curious as to what's happening and then sees it. Bear versus camouflaged predator. She can't believe her eyes. The two are battling. The bear gets the upper hand, bites predator. It stands up, and again, we get this cool shot of the bear standing in the slime green predator blood dripping out of its mouth. It walks away, and we see predator get up. Naru sees it all camouflaged, but also glitching out. The bear turns back around, heads right to predator, who punches the bear in the face, sending it crashing through thick tree branches, laying knocked out right next to Naru. She watches the bear then get dragged backwards out of her safety spot. Which, my friends, brings me to my milking of the alpaca's moment.
I know, Shawn, I debated this, but I gotta agree. I think I have to agree with you.
The camouflage predator raises the bear above its head, and the bear's blood is just pouring like a geyser onto the camouflage predator, drenching it completely as it's holding it up in victory, because no animal makes it out alive from it Madness Pod.
And, you know, when we did Predator, I talked about the Predator wanting that apple to make the Predator watch so you could disappear. And in this film, I think like just being able to, that cloaking device to have himself disappear would really come in handy. Like, you know, you're at the grocery store trying to get bananas and somebody comes up and wants to make a conversation about the bananas, and you just whoop, you disappear and you're out of here. Yeah, I'm out of here. I don't want to talk about bananas. I just want to buy them. You know, it's hot out there. Boop, just hit the button. Nope, not for me.
No
See you
small
later.
talk.
No
we
small
also
talk.
discussed what does the predator eat, and even till this point, we've seen it kill all these animals, but we haven't seen it eat a goddamn thing.
And I think that's what adds to it's just the coolness of this character that we still haven't, you know, at least in this film and the original, I think we didn't take away from the mystique at all. I think that mystique really helps it. We don't need to see the predator eating. Listen, he doesn't have the helmet on, Shawn, so he's not getting any Sunny D you know, pumped in, or juice box in his little kit or something. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't eat anything he kills. We don't see him eating anything he kills. He's just, you know, fighting it. So interesting.
Naru is watching all of this in absolute horror and begins quickly crawling away. She's swept away in the current of the river. The blood-soaked predator sees her making her escape. She makes her way to land and dries herself in absolute shock. And that, my friends, I think is a perfect halfway point for us to wrap up Episode 27, part 1, Prey, of our Predator themed. This is now like a month and a half. We did the original Predator in 2 parts. We did Predator 2 in a 0.5. Now we are doing Prey. There may even be more Predator in our future, but for now, make sure you follow us on the socials at In Madness Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. Hit us in the mail sack. We will be dipping in there and reading your emails on the show. inmadnesspod@gmail.com. Make sure you watch us on YouTube so you can check out my cool Vertebrae33 shirt, so you can see Vertebrae33 holding up the In Madness Pod shirts, so you can see the new mug of the week that he has. Make sure you give us the 5-star reviews and all the likes. Check out the In Madness Spotify playlist that I guess as of now is going to include Circle of Life by Ellen John. Great song. Happy In Madness Monday. If this is when you're listening, tell everyone you know about this podcast. Spread the madness, spread the In Madness tentacles worldwide. We want everybody listening. And if you want to cop a shirt, go to inmadness.com. Brand new shirts available now. They look so dope. I'm so stoked that we've reached the Predator part of our show and the t-shirts part of our show and the hanging out in Philadelphia part. It's been a great year plus for In Madness. How you feeling so far about Prey?
I'm good. If you can't tell already, I love this movie. Absolutely love this film. So I'm gushing over it the entire time, but excited to have our merch out there, excited for people to participate in this show. You know, we want people to be a part of this In Madness family. We want them to listen and tell other people. You know, key part is to have people watch. Maybe you didn't see Prey, maybe you don't have Hulu, I don't know, but you know, check it out or listen to it after you check it out, or listen to it while you're watching it. I haven't tried that yet. I wanted to try to like listen back to one of our episodes and see what it does if I just play the movie and
I
listen
think
to
we
us
had a
talk about it.
message in our DM that someone had not seen Predator and did because we covered it, which is incredible. And I've heard that for a lot of the movies that we've covered. Never thought about this, never paid it any mind. Saw you did a podcast about it, watched it, listened to the pod. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. We love giving you hours of entertainment, even if it's not from us. You watch the movie, then you can listen to us gush about it.
Yes. And if you want to follow me on all the socials, Vertebrae33 on everything. I have my merch at Hot Topic as well as my store. But more importantly than that, we've got In Madness merch. So go there and grab some of that. Send us photos of yourself wearing it. Once you get it, we can post them. Shawn will be wearing them, and we'll be throwing in surprises into the packages, and it'll just be a lot of fun. So we appreciate everyone waiting for us, because we talked about merch for I don't know how many episodes. And if these do well, we've got other ideas for other ones, so we can continue to move forward with it. I think that's it. You want to come back next week and talk?
Yeah, we'll see you fuckers next week. Thank you very much for joining us for episode 27, part 1. Prey, In Madness Pod.